Salutations, friends. My name is Brianna Bond, otherwise known as an ordinary scholar, and once upon a monkey and a crop top. So there was this boy named Aladdin. He was a bit of a little street rat. He was just hanging out, stealing stuff from time to time. He fell in love with this princess, the OG. Not technically the OG, but she's a G. She a G. Her name was Jasmine. And they fell in love, but Aladdin was scared she couldn't continue to love him and she didn't think that he was a prince. Insert Robin Williams, bless his soul, who has the power to make that kind of thing happen. So now, Aladdin is a prince. Unfortunately, he doesn't understand that. He doesn't quite get how magic works. So he doesn't really, he's having some sort of existential crisis and decides that Jasmine will not continue to love him if she finds out that he wasn't always a prince or something like that. He's just weird. He's weird. Aladdin's weird. So long story short, they get rid of the villain. They live happily ever after and they free a slave. But the story continues after that because you see, many years later, Disney starts going down this path where they are rebooting. They're essentially doing reboots of a lot of their most popular movies. But the kicker to the reboot is the reboot is in live action. They're doing a good thing here. They're just trying to take these movies that meant so much to so many people and bring it down to a new generation. Because you see, they could have remastered them. That's what they did with Cinderella. That's what they did at first with Cinderella and all of these things. They just remastered them. So they looked pretty. They looked up to date. You lost some, if you actually see some of the images of the original Cinderella animated movie versus the remastered version, you do lose a lot of, the descriptive details in the imagery. They could remaster it. They could reanimate it, something like that. But when you're doing it live action, especially, let's take for instance, like The Lion King, when you make that live action, when you make a movie filled with so many animated characters with such broad and lively facial expressions, you can't do that with a live action animal. You can't tell that same story that same way with a live action animal. But they've proven that they're not updating the dialogue or the text of these works to be able to make up for that. So what you're doing here is just a CGI reboot. You're just rebooting the thing. You're not changing it. You're not updating it. You're just rebooting it with less skilled, in particular The Lion King, with less skilled actors because the CGI can't do what the hand-drawn animation could do. I personally just feel that Disney really needs to stop circling in and tightening in on their own works, and they should just take a risk with some new works, maybe written by a severely depressed girl that's put her heart and soul into a new series that's coming out. Are you jealous? Hell yeah. But I digress. So what does any of this have to do with Spanish memes, though? Because that's the title of the video. That's the title of the video. That's why you're here. You're here for some dank Spanish memes. I got the most up-to-date, the most high-quality, highly funded Spanish meme going around right here. Because in 2019, while everyone was rushing to get tickets to see Aladdin, we all had one question. Why the hell did they do a Spanish version of A Whole New World? Because Aladdin takes place in the Middle East. Yeah, they got Will Smith. He's done a Spanish song. He's not even on this damn track. But that's the only segue I can find into Spanish from this movie. But here we are. A while back, they released a trailer for the music video. A teaser trailer for the music video for the Spanish rendition of A Whole New World. Now I get it, that's weird. But why is it a meme? First and foremost, because the male on the track either can't or just doesn't sing in Spanish. So it's only half Spanish. Only the female part sung by Becky G is in Spanish for some reason. If you were to ask me, I would say that that is a physical representation of a half-assed job. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all night. But jokes aside, it's weird. It's questionable, obviously. So I think we should get ourselves an answer. One idea for this is the idea that it's not about like the cultural aspects of it. It's obviously it's not for the cultural aspects of it because Spanish. It's about the kids, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is kids are pretty innocent. Most kids. There are obviously going to be kids who are looking for a Disney princess that looks like them. Of course. I would dare say the majority of kids are not looking for looks in their favorite princess. They're looking for someone who has like characteristics, personalities, songs. Those are the things that most kids look for when they're trying to pick out their favorite princess. And as we go along this path of trying to be extremely culturally appropriate with the casting of our characters, I think this could potentially be just Disney's way of saying that's not what this is about. We understand the desire to have it culturally represent you, but we just want there to be the feeling of it. We want everyone to be able to feel that. This, like, it's not necessarily about the character or the character's culture. It's about the feeling that the story and the struggle represents and can share and want to be able to share that with everybody, no matter race, gender, age, size. Another like thing that really supports that is an actual quote from the senior VP of Disney Junior. Her name is Nancy Cantor. Nancy Cantor. That's her name, I guess. I may have written it down wrong. Something like that. Nancy Cantor. She's the senior VP of Disney Junior. And when people were harassing her and being like, hey, Sofia the First is not Latina enough, she said, look around you, appreciate the differences you see, and celebrate what makes us all the same. And so that's potentially what they're going for when having this Mexican woman, she's American, but her lineage is Mexican, sing a Spanish rendition of half of A Whole New World. But do you actually believe that? Oh, no, not at all. You see, I think there's some conspiracy going on right here. Primarily because, and it's not like, I've solid evidence to back up my thought here. Because we have a lot of brilliant minds that went behind all of the Marvel Universe. A universe where every frame of every scene of every movie had thousands of items that were all placed very purposefully. There was a lot of work into everything that went into all the Marvel movies. While we've recently just kind of tied a nice bow on a decent amount of it, they're still continuing it. But I feel like it is fair to say that that kind of thought, that kind of energy has spread, especially based off how well they've been doing. So I am going to say that I genuinely believe that they chose to do a Spanish rendition of the song exclusively to hint at the fact they're going to be having a live-action version of one of their Latina movies, Sofia the First or Elena of Avalon, most likely the latter. And I say this because, guys, how often do we get a teaser trailer for a music video of a song from a Disney movie? How often does that happen? I think this is generally, maybe I'm just super out of it, but I feel like that's the first time I've ever seen a teaser trailer for a song out of a reboot of a Disney movie. That's a lot to do. That's a lot to do for them to tease it that way. No. I don't think that was I don't think they just suddenly thought this one song needed a trailer that bad. I genuinely think they're teasing something else here. What am I talking about? Why wouldn't it be a trailer for Coco? Because I think Coco, I haven't seen it. Like, hate me in the comments if you must. But I have not seen Coco. I believe it takes place around Mexican culture, Dia de los Muertos. And so having it in Spanish, I guess, a lot of people will think Mexican first. The fact that the singer is Mexican, people would think Mexican first. But it's too soon. Coco was like just a couple years ago. I think it's way too soon for a Coco reboot. For one, it'd be extremely difficult for Disney to try and push that off as just bringing it for a new generation when it came out like 2 years ago. That will seem like a cash grab to most people. Most people won't care because apparently that movie was amazing. So most people won't care. The major reason why I think it would be Elena of Avalon it could be Sofia the First, but I really think it'd be Elena of Avalon, is because also relatively recently, not as recent as the teaser, but relatively recently, there was a trailer released for a live action Dora the Explorer movie. Yes, I think this is a very competitive move, and I think it's a brilliant move, because if you've seen the trailer for the live action Dora the Explorer movie, first of all, Dora's like a high schooler, which is just weird. So they're playing to the people that grew up with Dora and like are adults at this point. Like, I am interested in watching it. But the main issue I have with it is it doesn't seem like Dora's going to be talking any Spanish. It doesn't seem like she's going to be speaking any Spanish. That is if that is what's actually going to happen in the movie, that is a terrible decision, because that is the major characteristic of Dora. I get trying to change things around to make it appeal to a different audience, but if you weren't going to have her speak Spanish, you should have just made a new character. She's supposed to be just a bilingual girl. That was the major thing of her. She's teaching you Spanish. Dora was probably most people's introduction to Spanish. I just really think it is a big mistake if they choose not to have her speak Spanish in this movie. But if that is what does end up happening, it would be brilliant for Disney to come pick up the pieces of all those disappointed viewers. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to keep hearing from me, then please go check out my Instagram, Facebook, noordinaryscholar.com, all of which are linked down below. If you want to check out my 2 books, these beautiful pieces right over here, then those links will also be available. This is I Hear Colors right here. This is the newest one. You should check it out. It's really good. And then if you want to hear about the super secret shenanigans I've been working on, you'll have to subscribe to my Patreon account, because patrons are going to be the only ones hearing about this for the next few months. So if you're really curious, which you should be, it's a lot of fun, then you should go subscribe. You can subscribe for about like $2, or about $2 a month even. But until next time, Valedictions friends.